What's up, everybody? Steve here. We gotta have a conversation. I mean, this. Let me just explain for a second. So, if you've been following this channel for a bit, I sold most of my real estate, and the reason why I did is I felt like most of the stuff we sold was at the peak, which I believe we sold at the peak, and I really have not been too involved in buying other real estate, whether it's fixing and flipping, buying to rent out, or even my own homestead. Our last property that we had over on Bonita Beach, that was our homestead, but I didn't do much of a remodel, so I wasn't spending a whole lot of time in Lowe's or Home Depot. And I'm going to tell you about an experience that I had over the last few weeks, specifically at Lowe's. But before I get into it, I spent a lot of time in Lowe's and Home Depot over the years, and a lot of times great experiences. And what I mean by that is you would go in and you would meet with a Lowe's or Home Depot employee, and they were retired electricians, they were retired plumbers, they were retired carpenters, they were in the trades. And then something happened, and I think this has been evolving maybe over the last couple of years. And I personally know people who have been in forced resignation situations, or fired, or even demoted, where they basically took a reduction in pay but have the same responsibilities in these stores. And when couple of years back, I would go into these stores, and there would be an issue, let's say an electrical issue, and I would have to problem solve that. But usually I'd be able to grab an employee, sit down, and even map it out on the ground of what we're trying to accomplish, and we would literally work together in terms of what I needed to, run certain electric, whether it was a 110 or whatever the case is. And the same thing with plumbing and some other issues. And it was great because you kind of had mentorship when you went into these stores. And I learned a lot from these people as well. It's not like that anymore. And hopefully you guys can let me know your experiences as well if you guys are doing any kind of home remodel projects, because I believe that these stores are going down the tubes. It's probably going to open up way for other big box stores, or maybe even smaller stores. And I don't know if you guys have an Ace Hardware in your area, but if you go into Ace Hardware, they'll literally shop with you. They're like, hey, what do you need? Come with me, I'll show you. And they literally will walk you up and down the aisle or aisles to get everything that's on your list. And they're a smaller hardware store, but they have that personalized attention. So probably about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, I'm in Lowe's, and I'm with a buddy of mine who's helping doing the showers in one of these hurricane condos that we bought, and he's building both showers. And I'm like, yeah, Chad, if you could go get what you need to get, I'm gonna go in some other aisles, get what I need to get, and we'll meet back up. So I find him over in the plumbing section, and he's waiting there because he needs to buy the rubber membrane that you got to put down for your shower pan. And he's like, oh, there he is. And a Lowe's employee comes over, and the guy goes, and basically we were looking for a knife because they charge per linear foot and you have to cut it. And the guy goes, you can't cut that. And I look at Chad, and he's like, it's sold per linear foot. And the guy's like, this is my first day. And I'm like, man, the quality of people that they're hiring, right? So I look at the guy, and I was like, look, there's no other way to do it. It's in a big roll, and you don't just buy the roll. And he's like, well, I got to call my manager. And I'm like, okay, way to, waste your manager's time in something like this. So anyway, I leave, and I have to get some more stuff, and I'm still waiting on Chad, and it probably took another 10, 12 minutes for him to deal with that, have a manager come over, give him a knife, cut it, and finally met up with him. Next day, I go to the same Lowe's, and I'm in the hardware section, and some guy goes up to a Lowe's employee and goes, "Look, I'm looking for these specific screws." And she looks at him and goes, "I don't know where they're at. This is my first day." Doesn't even help at all. She turns back and continues stocking shelves and doing what she was doing. Doesn't even say, "I'll call somebody for you." Doesn't say, "Hey, maybe I'll help you look around." And then about 3 days ago, I go and I ask an employee for something. And sure enough, he's like, "I don't know, man. I think it's on aisle like 23, maybe 22. I was like, "Is it 23 or is it 22? He's like, "I don't know." This guy he won't even walk with me. He's not even busy. Won't even walk with me. Won't even help scout out. Anyway, I go to both aisles, and I eventually find what I was looking for. I'm not claiming to be any kind of an economist or anything like that in any sense, but I feel like the quality of help, not even just in these big box stores, which I think Lowe's closed maybe like 50 stores last year in the United States and Canada, by the way. But I feel like we're going to go into a wage reset. And what do I mean by that? I think that a lot of employees have had the power over employers and continually asking for more and more money. And if they were not getting that, they would go to another like-kind employer and say, "Hey, I want this amount of money, or I'm not working for you." And I think that was the game during the pandemic. And I think what we're starting to see is a correction in that. And I know in Lowe's, I know they're firing people. They're firing this is just my personal opinion. I don't know if it's true or not, or maybe people are not getting fired, but they're leaving the store. They're definitely leaving the store. But I think people are either getting fired or they're leaving, and they are relying on, I don't know, they're qualified for the job. Maybe they're getting paid $25 an hour. I don't know what they're getting paid. But now they're getting replaced probably by employees with no kind of credibility, no kind of experience in the construction world, and they're probably paying half. And I get it. Your payroll is a large expense for most businesses. But it's at the expense of customer service. And I think that we're going to see a lot more businesses go through this transition of kind of a wage reset. And I think, unfortunately, the people that are getting fired, that are relying on $20 an hour, $25 an hour, whatever it is, they're going back to market for another job, and I don't think that wage is there. I think it's slowly diminishing. So the person that's relying on, say, $25 an hour at wherever they work, now maybe they're forced at $17.50 an hour. But what does that do to somebody's financial position when they have a mortgage, they have a car payment, they have children, they have all these financial obligations, and they're probably not going to be able to meet them. And I think that, I said this in other videos, I think that, in this recessionary period that we're in or going into, I think this is going to be part of it. I think people are either going to have to sacrifice big time, and they're going to sell their homes, sell their vehicles, go delinquent on certain things, or they're going to have to get a second job or maybe even third job. But I think that that's the direction we're headed. And unfortunately, I don't think it's good for the consumer experience. But I'd appreciate this as an ongoing conversation if you guys could give me any kind of your feedback of what you're seeing. And maybe not necessarily Lowe's or Home Depot, but maybe a local restaurant, maybe anything else that you used to have a good experience or great experience, and now you're not getting that level of customer service and you're getting a poor experience. I definitely want to hear about it in the comments below. If you guys would not mind sharing, I'd appreciate it. And thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys on the next video. See ya.